if y'all wouldn't mind, just if you see an open chair, please come sit down so you don't have to stand up. And just please welcome yourselves and meet the people at the table, and everyone have a seat if there is a seat. If you want to stand, that's great too. And we're going to do this family style today, if that's okay with everybody, which means that instead of people having to, we do have the opportunity to recognize and welcome a number of people that have been a big part of us kicking off this meeting today. But instead of having to navigate through the crowd, my humble assistant Tammy Cobb is going to work her way through the audience and bring a microphone, and we want to recognize people to speak. We also want to recognize people from the city, from the state, from companies that are here. And if we happen to miss someone, the way it worked in my family is if you needed attention, you just stood up and waved your hand and tell everybody who you are. So we hope to be able to, we're still in the process of meeting folks, and then we've got a lot of folks that were going to join us, some that couldn't, others that were able to at the last minute. So given that, we just want everybody to feel comfortable. We want to recognize all of the folks that are here that have been a big part of this, and so we'll get rolling. Is that okay, Tammy?
All right. I don't know if I know how to even work this. I'm usually loud enough without a mic.
So Tammy Cobb, I'll introduce, is the center manager and is the person that really is making everything work here and run well and make miracles happen. So let me recognize Tammy right off the bat. My name is Mickey Austin. I'm fortunate to be the CEO of PeopleShores. I've been with the company a couple of years, and we're having a lot of fun, and we're super excited about Pine Bluff. But what I'd like to do is just step back a minute and talk to you about Pine Bluff, and talk to you about how cool it is or can be if you think about a lot of things that have happened, a lot of companies that have been started, a lot of initiatives. If you could have been in the room when something like that happened, whenever, whatever, Bill Gates had the first idea about Microsoft, or Elon Musk, or the guy that started Red Cross, all these people that think of something, they're inspired for some reason, and then it just goes from there. And it never starts big, it always starts small and it grows. I could relate PeopleShores in a similar way. And this goes back, from my lifetime, it goes back in 1998 when I was working in Asia Pacific in Hong Kong. And there's a gentleman that came over from the same company. We both worked for a company called EDS, a guy named Ross Bro. And that was Murali Villagante, who's back in the middle of the room here. And Murali is the executive chairman and founder of PeopleShores. So Murali and I worked together 25 years ago. We did a lot of good things. We had a lot of fun, and we were very successful in what we were doing. But life happens, and I came back to the U.S. Murali went back to India, and Murali is famous for telling the story. He had been working quite a while on the life of business, and he wanted to go back and focus on the business of life. So Murali returned to India. As it so happens, Murali has been a devotee and a follower of a gentleman we affectionately refer to as Swami, which I will introduce a little bit later in the program. But I would like for you to know that the genesis of PeopleShores really came from Swami. And it came from Swami by the fact that he is a global humanitarian and philanthropist. He's someone that is represented throughout the world, and Murali is very close to him from a standpoint of really influencing and inspiration. So Swami talked to Murali about starting a company in India. And ultimately, the name of the company was Rural Shores. And it was basically to go to communities, small villages in India, and start a company where people could have the opportunity to go to work and have a professional career without having to move to a major city and or without having to leave their family and being able to build communities. And so Morale's whole idea was bring the business to them, bring the clients to them, bring the work to them. So he started Rural Shores, and to get to the point, over 12 years it grew to 14 centers in 8 states of India, employing over 4,000 people. And that was inspired by Swami and developed by Morale and a lot of people that got on the same effort to really make something happen and have a social impact. So let's fast forward about 14 years. Morale kind of made that happen there. And then I think Swami gave him his next mission, which was to come back to the U.S. and do the same thing here. So this became PeopleShores, which Morale founded about 4 years ago. It started in the inner city of San Jose because there was a big network there of support. And that's the first thing you'll see about PeopleShores is when we have the opportunity to go somewhere, what's important is that we go and we meet the community and we understand what needs to happen. We try and build that ecosystem to where we're really not coming in as a stranger, but coming in as part of a family that can work with companies, government officials, civic organizations, etc., to really try and do the same thing. And that's kind of what's led us to today. But so we started, Morale founded PeopleShores. It started in San Jose. The next stopping point was Clarksdale, Mississippi, in the Delta of Mississippi. Now, John Livingston, who's here in the room, who if I let him talk, he would take up the rest of the time we have here. But John is a fantastic promoter of Clarksdale, and many of you are aware of Clarksdale, and it's the home of the blues, and it's a great city that in some respect time is left behind, but it's catching up now. We had the opportunity to go to Clarksdale. Morale moved from San Jose with his family, bought a house in Clarksdale, Mississippi, said if we're going to be here, we're going to be here. And so Morale lives in Clarksdale, Mississippi today, and we have a center that we celebrated the 3-year anniversary yesterday in Clarksdale. So that kind of brings us to Pine Bluff, and how did we get here? And the short story is, it's kind of like Swami inspiring Morale, when Morale really started spreading the word and inspired. There's a gentleman on that couldn't join us today. He's online with us, Jag Dahl. Jag lives in Connecticut. He is a lifelong promoter of IT and business process services. He's famous in that respect and in many other ways as well. But Jag heard about, Morale told him what we were doing. Jag put a call in to a gentleman in Arkansas, I believe a KPMG partner up in, now you guys correct me if I get anything wrong here, but I'll get to the point. But one word led to another. The gentleman at KPMG said you ought to talk to Jay Cheshire in Little Rock, who's the head of the Chamber of Commerce. Jay said you ought to talk to Allison Thompson in Pine Bluff. It's a city that could really get behind something like what you guys do. So we talked to Allison. Allison introduced us to Mayor Washington. This was a couple of years ago. We kept coming every few months saying, hey, we're going to do something. And I think Allison, after a while, wondered, yeah, what are you guys doing? Are you really going to do something or not? And so Allison and I have talked about this frequently, but one thing led to another. And then the next wonderful thing in our life happened when we met Dr. Bloomberg at CR Care, and I'll talk more about that. But the point being, it started a long time ago. One thing led to another. There was inspiration from Swami to Morale, and that led to really being able to explore opportunities in the United States. So the short story about our company, if you're wondering who we are and what do we do, is we do, our objective, we're a public benefit corporation, we're an impact sourcing company, we're a minority benefit enterprise, and a lot of other certifications we're working on because that's important in the U.S. But our whole focus is to come to communities like Pine Bluff, go to inner cities in major areas, but go to places where other companies aren't going. And the reason we want to go there is because we know there's talent there. We know there's wonderful people that can do wonderful jobs, but they just need that opportunity. And so that's why we're in Pine Bluff. We started less than 3 months ago. We're now fast approaching having hired our first 90 people. We're a little over 80. We'll be at 100 by the end of the year. We want to be at 200 by the end of next year. And what we do is we set up, we invest in people, we do training. We're multifunction as far as business process, customer care, IT support, all technical areas in jobs that are sustainable, not jobs that could go away with automation or anything like that, not working in factories, God bless them, which are wonderful and great, and we need more of them. But our focus is our focus. And so we invest in people. Then we sign outsourcing contracts with companies. Many of our clients so far for Arkansas, I think all are represented here today. We'll speak to that. But that's what we do, is we bring the work here. Instead of it being outsourced to India, they've got enough work to do. And other areas, it comes to here in Pine Bluff, or it comes to other centers in the U.S. And our objective is to expand this throughout the United States. We'd love to have a center and even multiple centers in every state in the U.S. And there's no reason why we can't, because there's talented people everywhere. It's just give them the opportunity, get out of their way, and they'll do amazing things. So that's PeopleShores. That's how we got to where we are. And then we'll quickly walk through an agenda, and then we're going to do that. We do have, I should mention, a number of people that are joining us remotely, and if you all can hear me, thank you for joining. We appreciate it, and we're sorry we couldn't be here. You got to get to Pine Bluff as soon as you can. But we want to walk around, and again, Tammy has given me a script of exactly what to do and say. So
He's not following.
I'm not following it so far. But Tammy's going to walk around. The first table she's going to go to is Dr. Bloomberg.
Yes, so I'm going to start out right here at the center table. Dr. Stephen Bloomberg is, like Nikki said, our major partner here in Pine Bluff. We are sitting in his building on his campus. So he is a mentor for a lot of us around the city. So I'm going to start right here with Dr. Stephen Bloomberg. I'm Tammy Cobb, born and raised here in Pine Bluff. Have a degree from the University of Arkansas Pine Bluff and went on to Fayetteville from there. I was here at CARC for 13 years. I'm now the director for PeopleShores here in Pine Bluff. You guys will get to see our amazing building that we're working on across the street and meet some of the awesome staff members that I've had the pleasure of hiring from right here in Pine Bluff. So a lot of talent, like Nikki said, right here in our own backyard. So.
Thank you. So I'm not at anybody's back. I'm just going to go to the front, so that way I'm not discourteous to anyone. So first, welcome everyone to the campus of Southeast Arkansas College. I'm very, very appreciative of you all joining us today. And I'd be remiss if I didn't thank our partners at PeopleShores for everything that they have done and everything that they will do. We have a lot of dignitaries with us today. I won't introduce everyone, but I do want to introduce Representative Ken Ferguson, who's back with me, our state representative. Representative Ferguson is a big supporter of our institution. He's a big supporter of education. So I'm grateful for you being here. So to my friend Murali Swami, to your board of directors, and to all the distinguished guests that are here today, thank you all for being here. You've heard a little bit about PeopleShores' mission, and that is to help socioeconomically distressed communities and help their economy. I can think of no better place to begin than in the great city of Pine Bluff. I want to thank Murali for his vision and his leadership, because without that, we wouldn't be here today. When you think about the word opportunity, opportunity really does mean PeopleShores. Because PeopleShores, if you look around this room, the people at many of the tables, the people who are standing around are employees. Without PeopleShores here, those individuals would not have an opportunity to learn the technology skills you heard CEO Lawson talk about earlier. More importantly, think about this. PeopleShores is preparing people in the world of technology. People that probably didn't know a lot about technology when they started with PeopleShores, but they had two things. They were motivated and they were willing to learn. And if you think about what PeopleShores does, Morale's vision is that someday all of these people leave his company. I mean, think about that for a minute. He's not giving them these skills because he expects them to spend the next 20 years with PeopleShores. How many CEOs, how many founders are willing to say, come work for us, come be that motivated person that we need, but soon leave us, not because I don't want you, but because I want you to have a better life? How many founders of an organization follow that same credo? And so to my friend Morale, thank you for being willing to sacrifice. Thank you for being willing to give people skills that you know someday will take them away from you and your company. Southeast Arkansas's vision statement is 4 words: empowering students and changing lives. Morale's vision statement is love all and serve all. When you combine the synergy of those words, but more importantly, the synergies of our organizations, you see in less than 100 days what's happened. PeopleShores is almost ready to hit 100 employees in less than 6 months. Pretty amazing when you think about it, right? When you gather people together with common purpose, common cause, common outcomes, power is created. And you're seeing that power today. I've already talked to Swami about when PeopleShores is at 200 people, we hope again that you will come honor us with your presence when there are over 200 employees. And I suspect that'll happen sooner rather than later. I also want to thank my wife, Lynette Bloomberg, because she is a liaison with PeopleShores. Let this stand just for a second. She's been the one to make sure that what we needed to do for our partner happened. And I couldn't be prouder of today, not only for our institution, for the employees of PeopleShores, our community, everyone here today. Thank you for all that you do. And I'll close with one of the people that I admire the most was Representative John Lewis from Georgia, one of the last great civil rights leaders of our country. Representative Lewis used to talk about getting into what he would say, quote unquote, good and necessary trouble. Good and necessary trouble occurs when you have organizations working together to change the trajectory of people. People change communities. Communities are not made up of anything other than the DNA of those who live there. The DNA of our community is enriched because of the partnership with PeopleShores, because of the work that they've done. As a partner, I can't wait to see what tomorrow brings. We will continue to engage in good and necessary trouble to help our community, to help our region, to help the state of Arkansas, and most importantly, to help bring employees that are the future of PeopleShores. Again, when you see us 6 months from now, you won't believe your eyes. 90 days ago, none of this would have been possible, but we're here today because of the hard work of a lot of people. So welcome to the campus again of Southeast Arkansas College. We're here to serve you. I look forward to having more conversations about all of the synergies we're creating. Thank you all for being here today.
So, hey Tim, let me quickly say that the folks were on the line, they weren't online until just now. So
hey guys, thanks for joining us.
So anyway, I'm sorry for the delay, and I did want to quickly backtrack just a minute and tell Jag that we talked about the story of Jag, how it was your idea to get us going here in Pine Bluff. Thank you, and also thanks to the other people that are joining us remotely. And I have to make one other quick mention of the guy that just came up here and fixed that problem. He used to be my right hand, Joey Brett. Joey and I worked together at Ernst & Young. Joey was chief of staff for PeopleShores. He recently, for a lot of different reasons, had to return to Ernst & Young. But he was the guy that came to Pine Bluff by himself before Tammy, sitting in job fairs, interviewing people, wondering what was going to happen here, knowing that something would, but he wasn't quite sure, I think. So if there's one person in the room that had a significant impact on us being here today with this kind of results is Joey. So Joey, thanks for coming. Okay, so we're going to go to the mayor's office now?
Yes, we're going to continue on. I'm going to let Miss Cynthia, which is the mayor's chief of staff, come up and say a few words. You want the remote one?
Good morning. I am Cynthia Anderson, Chief of Staff to Mayor Shirley Washington, and it is my pleasure to bring greetings on her behalf this morning. The city of Pine Bluff is extremely grateful for PeopleShores and appreciative of your efforts and investment in our community. Through your goal of helping companies bridge the digital gap through your services, you are supporting our efforts in helping us move this city to become a city of progress. Additionally, your contribution to the community's workforce development and will have far-reaching impacts throughout the years. I would like to also acknowledge and express appreciation for the efforts of CR and the Alliance in partnering with PeopleShores to bring this venture to fruition. We look forward to the success stories of your investment and how it impacts lives and builds our community. Once again, we thank you for your contribution and we welcome you to the new location. Thank you.
So we're going to move right along to Miss Allison Thompson, who you've already heard her wonderful introduction.
Thank you. Well, it's my pleasure to be here with you today. Allison Thompson, President CEO of the Economic Development Alliance for Jefferson County, Arkansas. We are economic development and the Regional Chamber of Commerce. Economic development is a relationship business. Relationships like with my compadre John in Mississippi or Jay Cheshire in Little Rock. With our state agency, our workforce folks who have been an integral part in this effort here. And with Stephen and CRC and our UAPB, our other college. So it has been a pleasure getting to know the people at PeopleShores and to building the relationships with them and to see how they want to build the relationships in the community. And at the end of the day, we can do everything we do, but it's our businesses that actually create the jobs. And so I'm thrilled to be here today and to have these, see everybody here and to know that, that PeopleShores is building careers for people in our community. And thank you PeopleShores. Thank you, Swami, for your guidance and direction in getting this going. Appreciate it.
Also, at the same table, I'd like to recognize the sheriff, if we could. Am I doing your, were you going to do it anyway? Go, okay, so go ahead, I'm sorry.
So here is Sheriff Lafayette Woods.
On behalf of the men and women who make up the Jefferson County Sheriff's Office, I want to welcome you to Jefferson County Swarm 8. Thank you for being here. I think it's been said before that it's remarkable. This is a momentous occasion to think about recruitment, cultivating new businesses, economic development, and bolstering that. Certainly, you didn't send a representative, you sent yourself. So certainly, we pray for traveling grace back from us. That we can do anything to make your stay more enjoyable, safer. I'll give you my direct number. If you forget, just remember 3 digits, 911.
Thank you, Sheriff Woods. So we just want to say there's a lot of support for PeopleShores right there at that center table, and we appreciate every bit of it. As you guys know, Mickey was saying, our associates have joined us around the room as they kind of filled in some gaps. There are a few of them who just have a couple words that they would like to say. So the first one I would like to start with is Miss Dawn Hicks, who is back in the back, but she's going to make her way and mingle. So Dawn was actually one of the very first employees that I had the pleasure, I guess I'll share her with Joey because he kind of helped, but this is Dawn Hicks, and if we could just take a moment to listen to what she has to share.
Hi, I'm actually really excited to be part of this company. I've been a part of many different careers. I was an AV cryptologist, I was a medical assistant, and just searching for that reason to push forward. And I've always searched for more education and more motivation. And this company has just surprised me from the beginning. I didn't know exactly where we were going, but I had a really good feeling about it. So I'm stuck with it, and it's grown incredibly fast. And I just can't wait to see where we're going to go with this.
Thank you, Ron. So next, we have Miss Kayla Lamb. Kayla, where are you at? There you are. So Kayla is from our second cohort. She is doing medical billing processing. So Kayla, do you want to come to the front or do you want to stay in the center?
Well, hello, everybody. My name is Kayla. So nice to speak to you all today. I'm a little nervous, so I wrote a little bit of things out to keep me on track. I can talk. You don't need I got it. So I'm 27 years old, and I am from Arkansas, and I have been looking for an opportunity like this for a long time. And it's just not been available down here in little southeast Arkansas, you know. And so when this opportunity came along, I jumped on it. I really didn't know what was going to happen, what it was about, really. Just working with computers, I heard, so I was like, okay. And what an amazing journey it has been. I'm so thankful for this job. I'm so thankful for the opportunity. I'm so thankful for the people I've gotten to meet. I'm thankful for the values of this company. You know, this company says, love all and serve all. And y'all mean it. And I thank you for the acceptance that I have felt at this job from my boss, from my coworkers, all the way up to the top of the company. It's been an amazing, amazing opportunity to get to know y'all and to just be loved and feel the love from all of you. It's not an easy thing. It's not a, what am I trying to say? It's hard to find that for a woman like me in Arkansas. So I just want to thank y'all, and that's all I got to say. So thank y'all so much. Get back again.
Thank you, Kayla. So we're going to finish out, everybody close your ears when I say with one of my faves, Mr. Marcus Johnson. He has been deemed he has been deemed one of our internal community liaisons. Mr. Johnson is a big part of the greenhouse project that we have going on, where we're going to grow fruits and vegetables and donate those to local food pantries. So PeopleShores is not only about business, we're about community as well. And that's just one of the many projects that we have going on right now. So here's Mr. Marcus Johnson.
Thank you, Tammy. Thank y'all. This is, first of all, amazing that this actually grew. It was like they said, a room of 20 in this room grew to 100 plus with all these important people in this room is amazing. First of all, my name is Marcus Johnson, and I'm actually not a Pine Bluff native. I was kind of a vagabond, just roaming around the country, traveling, seeing what's out there, until I came down here to Pine Bluff because the family said, hey, check out Pine Bluff for a second, it's new. And I haven't heard much about Pine Bluff, nothing really exciting heard about from Pine Bluff, until I heard about PeopleShores and all their mission statements of wanting to bring jobs to underprivileged communities, and that really stuck my interest. And then working with you guys here in the interview of we're going to be building the Plain Wealth line, it really just sparked my interest of wanting to build something. And I had the opportunity to start this greenhouse, and through that got to meet a lot of my amazing coworkers, and we've been able to build something together that will hopefully, once it's off the ground, be able to serve the greater community and the community I want to be a part of. So this is just an amazing opportunity to grow, learn, and make friends and be a part of a community. So I want to say thank you all.
Thank you, Marcus. So I'm excited for you all to get to see all the vegetables that Marcus has got. It's going to be fantabulous back there. So thank you.
So I think we're going now to Rick Green with WSG.
Mr. Rick.
So we have, again, a number of partners we work with. One of them is WSG Consulting, Rick Green, Bill Stovall. These folks are, Rick was a former Speaker of the House. No, you weren't, but Bill was, but you were probably more important than that, I'm sure. But go ahead, let me.
I'm a recovering politician is what I do. I'm joined with Dana Wills here. Dana, raise your hand. 2 of the 5 members of our firm, WSG Consulting. I remember the day that Mickey and Morale came to visit us, and Dr. Bloomberg, thank you for your referral. Dr. Bloomberg is a client of ours at CARC, and we've come to know him and love him and appreciate him. But when these 2 folks sat down in our office and told us what they planned for Pine Bluff, we immediately, our hearts melted because we had an opportunity to be a part of this. And so our mission was to open doors at the state capitol, get these gentlemen into meetings to meet legislators. And thank you, Representative Ferguson, for being here. You've been very supportive. I know Representative Flowers hoped to be here and was in a meeting in Little Rock, so if she's not here, her heart is here today. But anyway, we got those doors open and met with the governor. He got really excited about PeopleShores, made sure that some initial funding was there to get things going. And they have become our family. And that's the way we think it. And Mr. Swami, we've now adopted you as part of our family. And thank you, whatever day it was that you had this concept come to mind in India, that who would have thought that it would be in Pine Bluff today, but this is where we are. So we appreciate the opportunity to represent these folks, and Tammy, we've adopted you as well. What energy, I mean, we're on a call with them every week, and her energy comes through the Zoom call. But let me close by saying there's not always a lot that you find these days when you get up, turn on the news, that make you feel good. We should all feel good today when we leave this place. And particularly after hearing these associates speak, to know that we all have a small part in making a positive change and spreading love and hope in Pine Bluff, Arkansas. We're delighted to be here. Welcome to Arkansas, everybody that's here.
Thank you, Mr.
Lonnie?
Fabulous partners is Mr. Lonnie Emmert at Arkansas Center for Data Sciences. So it's your turn.
Well, Tammy, thank you very much. You know, in representing the Arkansas Center for Data Sciences, on behalf of our Executive Director, Mr. Bill Yoder, if you'd stand, Bill. My name is Lonnie Emmert, and I feel very blessed in the fact that that very first meeting that Mickey referred to, that JAG called with KPMG, that we were one of those partners, or I was one of those partners that came to the table at the very first moment and heard this vision. And it aligned so perfectly with the reason why the Arkansas Center for Data Sciences even exists at all. Governor's Blue Ribbon Commission created a nonprofit organization with its sole intent to be able to wake up every day and begin to do something about the talent gap between the demand for talent and where that supply was going to come from. And what we initially have spent a great deal of time on is with what we call the apprenticeship program. So every one of these associates at PeopleShores is in an apprenticeship program. And it's perfectly designed to match what you just heard in terms of taking individuals who have passion and potential, right? The idea of having their sights set on a career in the IT profession, and guess what? Moving and advancing their careers to the point that it's almost like a succession management plan for the whole state, right? Because you said they may move on to some other company down the road because they're advancing their careers. And I say their careers, your careers, right? For most of you in the room. And that excites us in partnership with the Office of Skills Development, who runs all of the apprenticeship programs across the entire state. And if you think about our relationship with CARC as a training provider for this development program for these individuals, as well as other training partners as people advance, think about the fact that this is where, I always use this phrase, and I'm not sure I was the inventor of it, so I can't lay claim, I guess. But at the intersection of capability and opportunity lies the road to success. Well, guess what? The opportunity is being presented by PeopleShores. Capability is being built in each one of these individuals in a very collaborative environment, right? It's not any one entity. It's a collection. It's an ecosystem. I've heard many of the PeopleShores leadership use that phrase. So think about that for a minute as to how historic this moment is to be able to do something of this magnitude in this state at this time. And it really sets the stage for what we hope is a movement. I mean, we already are leading the country in the number of IT apprenticeships, right? And that's to do with things like what's going on right here in Pine Bluff. So I guess my words of thank you and encouragement and whatever else kind of goes along with celebration is the fact that this is one of those times. You know, it doesn't come along in our lives all that often. But when it does, we need to appreciate the fact that everybody in this room had something to do with this, right? And so I just want to say thank you, and I know coming up next is going to be Mr. Cody Waits and our great partner, because guess what? None of this happens without understanding that it takes resources and it takes funding, right, to be able to pull it off. It can be a great vision, but those pieces have got to be in place. So from a resource perspective, ACDS is set up with a talent management department that helped immensely with finding candidates for you guys, not all of them,
Right.
but that process leads to what? Project management. How do we implement this process? What does that training look like? Training solutions, if you will. And in the end, how does it all come together with our interface with our best partner? So with that, I'm just going to say collaboration at its finest. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
So Mr. Lonnie did such a fabulous job, I don't even have to introduce Mr. Cody Waits over here from the
Well,
Office of
let me
Skills
just say
Development.
one thing before Cody speaks, is we met with a lot of people, really, you know, we are a startup company. Tammy painted her own walls last week in her office, so we look for help wherever we can get it, and we appreciate it. But there's one gentleman, when he heard what we were up to and trying to do, that really stepped up more than anyone we've met, and we just sincerely appreciate Cody and his department stepping up to help fund the training for the first 50 people, and even helping support initial wages while we get our feet on the ground. So Cody, we wouldn't be here without you, and we sincerely appreciate you. You're a good guy.
Appreciate it.
Thanks.
Thank you. Well, good morning, everyone, and appreciate the opportunity to speak with you all today. Again, I'm Cody Waits. I'm the Director for the Office of Skills Development at the Arkansas Department of Commerce. And our mission is to make strategic investments in the Arkansas workforce so that earning potential increases. Whether that's in relationship with President Blueberg and Sierra College, whether that's with the Alliance with Nancy and Allison and Jennifer and the team there, or whether it's with companies, individual like PeopleShores, or organizations and nonprofits like ACDS, Forge Institute, and many others that we partner with around the state. There's just a few themes that I think really hold true to this entire discussion this morning, and I'm kind of doing what Mickey did earlier and going off script here. I had some prepared comments, but just based off the conversation we've had today, I think it's important to touch on the social and the economics piece of it and the relationship economics component to it. So when we started this thing, you know, and the first time I began meeting with PeopleShores was 18 to 24 months ago. It took some time to kind of start to hear the vision and understand some of that. And it actually took a number of sit downs, as you mentioned, coming back and forth between Arkansas and your respective places where you were. But it also included a trip to Clarksdale, where Mr. Livingston, took us up, and we had a nice lunch and had an opportunity to visit the facility there in Clarksdale and really get to see the impact that was being made in that community. And I think that's what really sold it for us, was in addition to just the vision and the relationships and the outcomes that we could, and the potential that was starting to happen, we had actual opportunity to go and lay our eyes on an actual facility that was operating in that capacity today, that was providing opportunity, as Lonnie mentioned, individuals who have the capability to succeed, but just needed that opportunity to have that recognized. And so you fast forward 18 months, and when we're trying to figure out what type of investments we can make into this work here, you know, just shy of $500,000 was invested into the organization here on behalf of the state of Arkansas from the agency to help support the work that's going on here and to train these individuals at Sierra College, keeping those dollars local, leveraging local relationships to make sure that the talent pipelines are being created. And for us, it's easy when we can sit there and look at the investment and the return on that investment that this is yielding. It pays for itself many times over, right? And so for us, you know, we get a lot of requests and we get a lot of organizations coming to us asking us to invest in their initiatives and invest in their programming. But when we sit down with Murali, it's been a pleasure to work with you and your team, sir. Mickey as well, and all the efforts that you all have done. Joey, Tammy, the entire group here at PeopleShores has just been a phenomenal organization to work with. And the money we've invested today will only continue to grow as PeopleShores continues to grow, and as the community involvement with CART, ACDS, and all organizations involved are truly providing a private-public partnership. And so for us, we're excited about the journey that's taken place, but it's even more exciting to see the journey that lies ahead of us. And so on behalf of, again, of Governor Hutchinson, Secretary Preston, and the Office of Skills Development, I thank you all for being here, and we're just a small part of a big process that's in place, and we look forward to the growth that's going to occur. So thank you.
A few other folks I'd like to quickly introduce that have joined us. One is Kim Davis. Kim is the senior advisor with the Walton Family Foundation, and he's visited us a couple of times here. So thanks for coming back. We appreciate it. Also, Lee Watson with the Forge Institute is sat in at the table over here. It's a cyber-related company in Little Rock that does a lot of good work. And also Collins, where are you? There you are. Collins is with Innovation Labs in Little Rock, also a technology company that does a lot of work in developing opportunities. So again, some of the other relationships. And who else? Francella Ware, who's one of our center managers in Clarksdale, Mississippi, joined us today. And I'd be yelled at all the way home if I didn't introduce my wife, Nancy. I'm not. Hand her the mic and let her say hi, y'all.
She definitely needs the biggest applause in the room.
So the only thing I would say, I grew up in the panhandle of Texas, so I'm the only one in the room with an accent, except for hers, which is much more pronounced than mine. So say hi, y'all.
Hi, y'all.
I'll be in trouble for that. But anyway, thanks, Nancy.
Okay, so if you'll bear with us just a few more minutes, I have probably the most important people in the room back here at this back table. So we have a few of our customers, a few of our projects. My associates, y'all don't get scared to run the room, but we've got some supervisors in the room from Blue Cross Blue Shield, and I have my best friend in the whole wide world that drives the bus, Miss Gloria from AFMC. So we're going to let them just say a couple of words.
Thank you, Tammy. I want to thank you all for inviting us to this exciting event, the inauguration of PeopleShores in Pine Bluff. I am Gloria Boone, I'm Vice President of AFMC, and my direction is members services. We provide customer service for Medicaid, Arkansas Medicaid membership. Our contractor requires that we use live voice rather than IVR menu, and we have formed the most perfect partnership with PeopleShores, who provide phone agents who assist with inbound calls within the triage line of business. They route the calls, they take the calls, route the calls to the appropriate customer service rep and the issue. Congratulations to this amazing endeavor of developing and enhancing the professional skills of our young people.
Thank you, Ms. Gloria. So seated next to Ms. Gloria is Blue Cross Blue Shield, Ms. Sharonda, Ms. Toshiba.
I hadn't planned on talking. I'm Sharonda, and I have had the pleasure of working with Tammy. And we have had many calls. Tammy does a great job of interacting. If I send her an email, she's right on it. She's calling me. I have her number saved in my phone. Where we work with claim specialists, those that are coming in, and our inventory, you can imagine, is massive right now, right? With all the things that we have going on in the world, we have a massive amount of inventory. And so we needed, people to come in and help with that massive inventory. PeopleShores has played a major role in giving us people that can not only come in and do it, but do it well. And being able to have someone to have as a contact when things may not be going so well.
and working through those things together. And so I just want to give accolades to Tammy, because that is who I've had most of my contact with, a little bit with Joey in the beginning, but then he left. But it has been a great experience, and I look forward to continuing to work with those employees and them growing, one of them being Miss Kayla over there. And she is awesome as well. She has just meshed right in with the team with great energy, and I just want to just thank PeopleShores for working with us, and we just hope to continue to have a growing relationship.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Toshiba Hughes, and I'm a claims manager at Arkansas Blue Cross and Blue Shield. And the partnership with Arkansas Blue Cross and Blue Shield and PeopleShores actually began in March of this year. I know that hasn't been a lot of time, but you will be amazed at the progress that we've made through this partnership. The Great Resignation, have y'all heard of it? You haven't heard the Great Resignation? Well, it's actually become more of an occurrence. It actually became a movement, and it affected all organizations, and Arkansas Blue Cross and Blue Shield was certainly no exception to that. And so that's what led to the partnership that we developed with PeopleShores. And through this partnership, we have been able to staff, and again, we've only been with them since March of this year, but we've been able to staff over 30 claims specialists for our vacant claims specialist positions. One thing that we noticed right away is that PeopleShores is not just a staffing agency. We see them as a managed service provider who is very involved in their community. We see the efforts. We're very appreciative of that. And this partnership is one that we do see for a long time.
Thank you, Ms. Toshiba.
Tammy, could you go over to, I want to recognize Simmons Bank, two gentlemen, Nick Kiefer and Kendall Reese with Simmons Bank, who's also a client of PeopleShores.
Thank you. Nick Kiefer, I'm a Senior Vice President with Simmons Bank. We're thrilled to have you all here in Pine Bluff and to partner with you all, a community we've been a part of since, I think, 1903. Thrilled to find an opportunity where you all can help us with, I think, after-hours IT support, and can look forward to continuing to work with you all. So,
thank you much. Of PeopleShores started in Clarksdale. Sanjay Belakar is here with us, came from New York last night. But we started a contract with them here in Pine Bluff a couple of weeks ago. We hired 25 people in about 2 weeks. We've been going through training. Their client that we partner with them on is the Department of Education, the largest school district in the U.S., and answering level 2, level 1 help desk calls. So technology support calls and other operational calls, et cetera. I'll let Sanjay speak more, but I just want to tell you how important they are to PeopleShores as a company, and the fact that when they heard about Pine Bluff, they said, what can you do? And Tammy made it happen very quickly, and we're excited about the folks working here. So thank you much.
Thank you. Relationship between us, Nagaru, and PeopleShores really started in the coordinators. And it was a very difficult time when we had a typical situation in your state, it's a friendly on city, predominantly in the school system, and the school systems right now. And specifically for the shelter parents and students, when they didn't have iPads and remote learning devices, that's when we started. And I guess, it helped us a lot on this relationship, because, if we didn't have that support from PeopleShores, especially from Lee and Vicky, we would have not been successful. So we stepped in when in the midst of that pandemic situation to help our student community in New York State. That helped us to grow the client, and it helped us to grow with PeopleShores. So currently we are around 75 members of us with PeopleShores. So it's a great journey. And I think our missions are similar, like love and service. That's what we talk about. So I think that's what we're living on ground for New York City citizens. And we would like to continue that journey. Thank you. Thanks for being part.
Miss Gloria, close your ears because here's my favorite person. So we're gonna end with Mr. Phil Harris.
Oh, God.
So Mr. Phil Harris is the Associate Director for the Department of Workforce Services. That's what he did, right? Division of Workforce Services. And he's known me a long time, and he's not gonna talk about a lot of stuff, but
I'm gonna disclose.
you have 3 minutes. Go.
Now, she initially told me I had 45 minutes. When you see the word keynote, you think keynote, right? 45 minutes. So I've condensed this 3 minutes into 2 minutes. Okay, so just 2 minutes and I'll be done. I want to share with you, but first of all, let me acknowledge the dignitaries and the elected officials in the room, Representative Ferguson and the mayor's office and the others. And certainly I want to acknowledge the state agencies, my partners in crime, that we do a lot of good work together. And I'm here too. I want to greet you on behalf of our Secretary of Commerce, Mike Preston, and my Director of the Division of Workforce Services, Dr. Therese Childers, who could not be here today, unfortunately, but I'm standing in for her. And glad to be here. So as I sit back and listen, and I've been with PeopleShores, I've been in a lot of the early on meetings and been a part of this from the very beginning. The first thing I want to point out is very quickly is that entrepreneurship is alive and well in the United States of America. Would you agree? Yes. Good. It also has a rich history right here in Arkansas, right? Tyson Foods, Sam Walton, Walmart, Simmons Bank, right here in Pine Bluff, right? Safe Foods, if you've heard of biotechnology company in North Little Rock. K9 Country Club, ever heard of them? Yeah, I said it, that's true. K9 Country Club. You can go get your little pooch cleaned up real good, pedicure, get their little T-Hiney taken care of real good. I'm a big dog lover, so it's an awesome organization. So as we think about this and we think about entrepreneurship, we think that it usually we think of entrepreneurship as something that's technology driven, and that technology is usually taken and enhanced, or something spectacular comes out of that technology, like Uber, Safe Foods was a biotechnology and things of that nature. But I would submit to you that entrepreneurship mindset is alive in other sectors as well. And it's right here in PeopleShores. Because when you think about what's happening here, it is entrepreneurship at its core. And the mission and the vision of the company is driven, but it is an entrepreneurial mindset. And I would say that we have come across here an innovative program that is using or devoted to workforce development, right? I see some head shaking. 1 minute left. So while it's not all that captivating, like a drone delivering my dinner to my house, right? It's still preparing the next generation for good jobs. And I believe that that is an inspiring endeavor. Would you agree?